because people love the vaccines and people hate the vaccines, but conservatives aren't. And I understand both sides of it, by the way. I understand both sides very well. What I didn't do is the mandates. The mandates and the vaccines don't go. And you had these governors mandating. And by the way, Ron DeSantis,
the Pentagon did.
Ron DeSantis had lines of people trying to get the vaccine. He set up whole things. You know, when I never saw a guy that could forget the past so quickly, because the past wasn't that long ago. But you have a lot of people. There are people that say I saved 100 million lives. I don't even talk about it.
That's my favorite sentence at the end. That I saved 100 million and you'd never know it from me. It's an amazing thing to say. But the more of that quote, I think it's really good. He says, some people love it, some people hate it, but conservatives, he trails off and then he moves on to something else because he can't explain what's really going on. He says, I understand both sides of it, and that is true. He does understand both sides of it. The politics of both sides of it. Whether he understands anything beyond just that he's not supposed to say that he likes vaccines because the right has been trained to hate them, I don't know. But I really wish, while Bret Baier did, I think, an overall, Mondale, a good job in that interview, I would have loved to have been able to ask some follow-ups there. Because if you understand the substance of both sides, then there's a bit of an issue there for Donald Trump, because you're saying that vaccine saved 100 million people. The right is saying it's murdering people, it's killing people left and right, it's immoral, it's satanic, it's a plot by Bill Gates, it's evil. It's killing people, it's wiping people out. Every celebrity who dies because of the vaccine. That's what they're saying. Donald Trump, are they right? The vaccine that you're saying was amazing, an amazing achievement that you don't get enough credit for, is it secretly killing every celebrity? Because you can't have it both ways. You really can't. He wants to politically play it both ways, and unfortunately, Bret Baier played ball with that. He allowed him to brag about it and then didn't force him to point out that the right is wrong, that they were lied to by right-wing grifters, right-wing politicians played along with it. There is a cost to be paid for how anti-science and anti-vaccine specifically the right has become. There weren't enough follow-ups about that, Mondale, and that was frustrating. I liked a lot of the interview, but that really sucked.
Yeah, that last line that you said was your favorite. Just sounded like something that followed. We are the knights that say nay. Like it just felt like that was the perfect follow-up to that line. Like it is that ridiculous. I mean, like Donald Trump is Monty Python of our politics of presidents, right? Listen, here's the sad part about it, right? We know there's something even deeper at play here. I mean, Republicans won't even say that COVID is real. Donald Trump is saying he saved 100 million lives. From what? From what? I mean, your conservatives are saying COVID isn't real. Everybody's dying. They're saying that these people have died anyway from old age, from being overweight, from sickness, or from cancer. And they're just saying that we're just marking these people dead because of COVID. So Donald Trump, like you said, can't have it both ways. Either people are dying from COVID because it is a serious virus, or it's not. And either way, it seems like Republicans are gonna have something to do, like dance on a tightrope as how they support Donald Trump's stance, because his stance now sounds like our stance, a normal stance, that COVID really was killing millions of people across this country, across this world, and also the vaccine saved hundreds of millions of lives, according to Donald Trump. So I can't understand how Republicans defend this, but I'm certain they got a tightrope that they can do.
Yeah, I mean, look, admittedly, it's kind of like an evolution of the thing that we've been dealing with for a couple of years now, where the right, which as you say, says COVID is not a serious thing, it's not a dangerous thing, it's not nearly as dangerous as the vaccine. It's so undangerous that we don't have to do anything to stop it. Like, I'm not even talking about vaccines. I don't have to wear a mask, I don't have to socially distance, I don't have to stay at home, I don't have to do anything, and that's fine because it's not bad. Also, it's a Chinese bioweapon that they unleashed to kill all of us at the exact same time. It is a horrendous international war on humanity, and we should ignore it. It doesn't matter at all. And I fear now, because now we're more than 3 years out in the pandemic, that the hypocrisy, that sort of insane, utterly irrational hypocrisy that came up during the pandemic. I'm mentally never going to be able to understand how we as a society or individuals individually did that. And at least the people watching the show now, you know what I'm talking about. But assuming that I don't get fired or whatever, I'm gonna be doing this in 20 years and still talking about that, because that was the defining moment of our age, I think. If you could convince millions and millions of people to willingly get and die from a virus as a political stance, then what can't you convince them to do? And we've seen since then, you could convince them to believe a lot of crazy stuff about vaccines and about Satanism and about pedophilia and about whatever you want. Like all of the limits, all the breaks were gone once they did that. Any final thoughts, Mondale, before we move on?
I mean, what you just pointed out made my mind run and think like what is possible when you can convince some people to believe something that is unbelievable. And I think that's how we got the institution of racialized slavery, right? Like when you tell this many people that these people aren't human, and then people start believing it, it seems like this list begins to grow, and we could do anything like rape these people, have kids by these people, and still say they're not human. So you're saying you're having sex with something that's subhuman, but I digress. But I think you know. So what you talk about is the marking time of our time, or point of our time, reminded me of something that this country has done before with slavery.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Yeah. So the pandemic, I think, is the thing of our era, but yeah, there have definitely been bigger and more consequential lies that were accepted in the past. That's totally true.